the child who learned to stand alone, the beginning of my becoming. And remember, even in silence, your soul is still speaking. I was born in an oasis in Morocco, a place of golden sand and whispering palms, the kind of beauty that feels ancient, like time itself pauses there. When the wind moved, it carried secrets. When the night fell, it smelled of dust, prayer, and the soft sweetness of figs ripening under the stars. On the surface, my childhood looked ordinary. I had a family, 4 siblings, a mother, a father. There was laughter in the house sometimes, the sound of pots clattering, the smell of mint tea filling the air. But inside, there was silence, the kind that makes you feel invisible even when surrounded by people. I remember being 5, maybe 6, sitting by the window and watching the world outside, children playing, mothers calling their kids, fathers returning home. And I wondered, why do I feel so alone in a full house? You see, my family was going through their own storms, ones I couldn't understand at that age. Arguments that echoed through the walls, faces that carried exhaustion, and hearts that had forgotten how to listen. Whenever I reached out, with tears, with fear, with trembling hands, they turned away. They called me weak. They said I was too sensitive, too emotional, and so I stopped reaching out. At an age when a child should be held, I learned to hold myself. It's a strange kind of awakening. When your small body realizes no one is coming to save you, you start to build your own safety out of silence. You become your own parent, your own comfort, your own protector. At first, it hurts. It's a wound that seeps quietly, but over time, that pain becomes something else, a teacher. I began to notice the little things, how the light filtered through the palm leaves at sunset, how the birds always returned home, no matter how far they flew. I realized that even in loneliness, there is presence. Even in abandonment, there is guidance. Because God was there all along, not in the noise of my house, but in the stillness of my heart. He showed up through strangers, through the kind smile of a neighbor, through a teacher who saw me, through moments of unexpected warmth. They didn't stay forever, but they were proof that love existed beyond bloodlines. That was the beginning of my faith, not the faith I was taught, but the faith I felt. A quiet certainty that something greater was holding me when no one else did. But growing up like this leaves marks. When you are forced to be strong too soon, you wear that armor into adulthood. You don't ask for help. You don't trust easily. You keep smiling even when your heart is tired. You become the listener, the healer, the one others lean on, because you know too well what it means to have no one. Years later, during my healing journey, I understood what had really happened. That lonely child in the oasis wasn't weak. She was awakening. Her tears were her soul's language, calling her toward compassion, empathy, and depth. Healing didn't come in one moment. It came in waves, in the shaking of my body during trauma release, in the warmth of my face as I massaged old pain awake, in the trembling that turned into peace, the silence that turned into wisdom. I learned that the body remembers. The fascia, the muscles, the skin, they all carry the echoes of what the heart couldn't say. And when you start to move that pain, when you breathe into those old memories, something miraculous happens. You come back home to yourself. So if you're listening right now and you recognize yourself in this story, if you've ever been that child waiting to be seen, if you've ever felt small, unwanted, invisible, I want you to close your eyes, breathe. You are not broken. You are awakening. And every moment of loneliness, every unanswered cry, every time you had to hold yourself, it was not for nothing. It was God quietly shaping your strength, preparing your heart to love in ways the world cannot understand.